What's up, nerds? Welcome back to another installment of the Aggressively Average Angler podcast. I still want to say the Burley Fishing podcast. It's so bad. We're 131 episodes into this one, and I still want to say the old one. It's crazy. We have a guest today. We have Reed from Cashion. Is it McKinstry?
Yes, sir.
McKinstry. I should have gone with my first instinct. I wouldn't look like an idiot. But we've got Reed here from Cashion Rods. Now, Cashion is making this is their number 2 time coming on the show. Now, people don't often come back. I feel like they get scared of us and like, I don't know. It was probably too much fun. They were like, it was too much fun. I can't handle that much fun. I got to take at least a year off and then we'll come back. But Cashion's coming back. I think it's only been like not even 6 months. So we're going to talk about American-made fishing rods. We're going to talk about new production location, new warehouse, new everything. We're going to talk about new rods in the lineup that are hitting. So we got a lot of fun stuff coming down the line. But we got a little bit of news and noteworthy, so I want to hit that first. Biggest thing, Kayak Adventure Series. It is a tournament fishing series. If you haven't heard of it, it's amazing. It's run by Drew Gregory. I think this is year 3. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3. And we have the finale. The grand finale of that tour is going to be in Franklin, PA, September 12th and 13th. Jeff and I will be in it. We are fishing the team series. And then obviously we're going for the micro bag because that's my specialty. And it's going to be a ton of fun. There's an amazing group of people there. I'd say this now because you got to register now. Like, we are not that far out. We're 3 weeks out. I highly recommend that you guys go. A lot of influencers are going to be there. They're just great people, and they love to talk to people. We're like John Dalton and like Ilyak, and like just a bunch of great people that go to these. So highly recommend you go. And it is a family event. There's going to be tons of activities to do. There's adult activities. You can have a couple of dad pops, mom pops, whatever you like. But there's tons of fun things to do with the kids too. And it's like a Thursday through Saturday event, so you can get back home on Sunday, get some rest, get your butt back to work. Sad, but you know what? I appreciate it. So that is going on. The other thing too is we're bringing our Malone trailer, and that is now going to be like an advertise on the event because there might be maybe a new sponsor for next year. So if you guys want to see the new trailer that we are running, you can come check it out there. That is the big news and noteworthy. Couple weeks, we're going to be out in PA, do a little fishing, have a little fun. All right. Now, Reed, can you let's introduce you with Cashion. What's your role? What do you do for the guys? What should we be thankful that you are doing for Cashion?
Oh man. So I'm the operations and product manager, I guess. So I run designing all the new products that we're coming out with and making sure the wheels are moving and that we're growing, man.
That is a big job, especially for a privately held company. And in fishing, dude, that is a challenge. So I applaud you. And we have got some questions for you today that I'm excited to get answers to. But we have a fun one. We have what we call our Q of the day, Q of the D, question of the day. Just a fun little icebreaker. I came up with this one, and I was like, this could be a whole show all on its own. So I'm excited to ask you about it. My question is, if the internet disappeared, was gone today, boom, Thanos out of existence, would fishing be better off or worse off if it was gone?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Isn't that such a good one? That was like I feel like that was like a hard hitting like New York Times question. Well, it's tough because like instantly I'm like better, way better. It'd be so much better because we wouldn't have like people making fun of you for your PB. We wouldn't have like you're getting constantly peppered with like buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that. You wouldn't have like all the stuff. But I never would have learned about like the Nico rig. I never would have found all these sick fishing spots like out of state. I wouldn't be here. I probably wouldn't get to fish nearly as much as I do, right? Selling stuff becomes hard. So all of a sudden Cashion's like, well, dang it. Now I got to do actual marketing. This is going to suck.
That's it, man. I think would the business be better off? No, probably not.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
We all rely on you guys and the marketing and everything else, both to sell the products and to learn what we need to build next and everything else. So, but from a selfish point of view, I think it'd be pretty cool to, be able to go fishing more and maybe not have so much pressure in certain areas and stuff like that. But like you said, you're definitely not going to learn as much stuff. It's going to be harder to learn that stuff. So you're going to have to put more time on the water. But man, I don't know.
Not a bad thing.
Forever. But just like you, I make my living in the fishing tackle business. So it might be a little bit harder for me to eat,
Exactly. I've eaten a lot more ramen. That's for dang sure.
No doubt.
But like, dude, sometimes I wonder sometimes I wonder. I was pretty dang happy when I had like one Shakespeare and I was, just like, what do you do with this worm? I don't know. Let's put it on the hook, I guess. Like,
huh? Yeah.
I had my bait tackle was like 4 bags of plastics and that was it. And like I had 3 hooks. Like if I ran out, I was going home. Like, I got one Rapala jerkbait and that's it. Dude, I don't know. I want to do a whole show on it. It's got to be its own show. But I appreciate your answer and I appreciate your honesty.
Buying tackle would be totally different, man. You always got to go to the shop. You never know.
That's such a good point.
Weird.
Could you imagine being reliant on Joe Schmo's tackle shop, which is I never even thought about that. I was like, now I'm just like, I don't know, internet, tell me what to buy. I'll get 3 of them. That color too? Why not? Oh, discount code? Heck yeah. Like totally different. I never would have heard of like a Megabass Karashi. Like there's in no way.
So many things we'd miss out on. Stuff from other places, small brands that are doing cool things. You just miss it.
God dang it. Yeah, I wouldn't have pig jigs. I wouldn't have it. Dude, that's a really good point. Dang it. Oh man, this has got to be its own show. We got to do like a full pros cons breakdown. Like what is the internet doing right and what's it doing wrong? That's
knock on wood. Right. We have to figure that out anytime soon, but
I don't know. Maybe it's good or bad. We'll have to do the show and find out. It would be nuts. To lose the internet overnight would be unbelievable. It would be insane.
Chaos.
Just the roads. The roads would just be like, I can't even imagine. Like we have this thing in Michigan called the Woodward Dream Cruise. It is Woodward Avenue is like a 4-lane, very long road that runs through Michigan and it runs right through Motown. And all the big it is a week-long car show where like a bunch of privately owned cars come and they just drive and drive and drive and drive and drive. So it's a bunch of custom stuff, a bunch of rare cars. They have little parking lots just full of Corvettes and like all kinds of stuff. It's so cool. I imagine that's what the streets would look like all the time for the rest of the time if the internet turned off.
What else are you going to do with your time? Like you're
I don't know.
Be out in the world.
Disc golf.
Boom.
There you go.
One or the other.
That's right. All right. So we're going to get into the show meet. So one thing I want to talk about, and I want to reinforce this because I think it's so important. Talk a little bit about what some people probably already know, but if you're new to the show, if you're new to Cashion, you got an American flag on your hat right now, part of the logo. Where's that coming from? What does that mean for me, the consumer, and you as the manufacturer?
Yeah, I mean, that's the core of the brand. It's in our mission statement from day one. It's something that we all believe in, and Dr. Cashion especially believes in. Supporting American-made manufacturing, the jobs that that we're creating, and we genuinely believe we can make a better product. And in these times right now, it's been good for us. So. A lot of crazy stuff going on in the world, but the fact that we're doing it here and pretty much 100% in-house, or primarily in-house, is definitely been an advantage to us. So
it's such a huge deal. So when he says in-house, he's talking about like we're making the raw materials we're making the blanks.
Yep, absolutely.
You know how many companies are making their own blanks?
It's not many in the States, I can tell you that.
No, bro, not many at all. And like, you might also be thinking like, well, if you're making your own blanks, everything's got the same action. The Icon has the same action as, dude, no way. I can tell you because I have the Element Z2 spinning rod right here. And this is just like the medium heavy, the go-to. I'll tell you right now, it is nothing like the Icon.
Yep.
Not even close. I was like, I kind of expected. I was like, well, it'll be the same. And I was like, what the frick is this?
Yep.
No, dude.
I mean, it would make my job a little bit easier if they all were, but I mean, for sure, that's part of the fun though too. I mean, doing the PD, today we were knocking out some prototypes. We're always working on new stuff and fine tuning the existing stuff every day. Making the blanks has its own challenges, but because we do it in house, we get to be as creative as we want with it. So it's pretty cool. It's unique for sure. It's something that's cool to be a part of.
Yeah, and the number of people that are doing that, I mean, it's like I think it's like you guys and Kistler at that level. I mean, there's like custom makers and all that kind of stuff. But there's like that are truly going like top to bottom American made. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not I mean,
There's a few other of those big guys, but you know, a lot of times they're building a couple ranges in the States and then still sourcing, you know, stuff in different places or have their own manufacturing in other places, which is cool because they're still doing a lot of stuff here. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of stuff coming in from other places. So
it should be a point of pride. You guys should be proud of that, and it should be a point of pride.
It's something, it's like I said, it's something that's part of our values, and I don't see us changing that anytime soon. And we're growing every day, and you know, we're putting our local American, you know, crew to work, and we're proud of that every day.
Heck yeah, dude. I love that. And and the product is great. I mean, that's the thing that makes it, I think, special. Like the product is super good. Like, and it is like the actions are good, but the quality is always there. And what I've worked in supply chain for the majority of my career. So when I see an American made rod, and then I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, anybody can make a nice rod for $500. And then I come back and I'm like, oh, they're making it for like 130. Well, I'm like, well, give me the $100 30 rod. Let's see about that. Let me see about that. Yeah. So then you get one in your hands. They're like this. I mean, if I was being honest with you, if you put the same grips on them, I think the average angler would be gosh darned.
Yeah.
To tell you which one was super expensive. Now, when you take the blindfold off, you'd be like, oh, well, duh. Because the finish on the Icon series, it's incredible. I mean, they're so nice. But from a fishing perspective, they all fish so freaking well. So, I mean, that I feel like is, you're not just hanging your hat on there, you're hanging all your hats on that hook. Because that's impressive.
Oh, it's cool, man. We take pride in it, like I said, and it's fun because we get to do everything in house. I mean, we're always tinkering stuff, always playing with different things, materials and components and everything else. So yeah, the sky's the limit because we have so much flexibility, you know, on a daily basis.
Well, I'm going to ask you about how you guys pick some of that stuff out next. But one question I wanted to ask, because you said right now is good times. Right now is not great times for everybody. Right now, we've been talking about tariffs. We've been like, oh man, those dang tariffs for a while. And people are like, well, they're not impacting me. And I'm like, well, because none of that product that's more expensive is here yet. And then just the last, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, Tech Warehouse, price going up. You go look at Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, whatever, prices are going up. You go to most of your retailers, your resellers, prices are going up. They close the loophole on a lot of Japanese import. Those prices are going up, or they're saying, I can't ship it to you. One of the two, right? That's the sound of the rug getting pulled up for a lot of people. And I mean, we're not talking about like small stuff. I mean, like you're paying 30% more for a dyeable product.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you get it. Guys got to do what they have to do, but
it's a tax. They're going to pass it to you.
Exactly. I mean, it kind of has to happen that way. There's nothing we can do about it. We're selling fishing tackle. We sell fun for a living. We just got to deal with it. You know what I mean? And try to get through. But again, for us, I mean, we still buy some stuff from some of those places, but it's usually small componentry, so it's not hit us as hard. And we're trying our best to, you know, hold our pricing as close as we can. So not taking those big, you know, big price increase hits. But yeah, I mean, that's why it's been good for us, because obviously doing it here, and we do a fair amount of contract work for some other companies. So, you know, the phone's been ringing for sure. And that's been fun. Also challenging, because how do you handle that, and how quickly can you turn those things around? I mean, it's a little bit of a game we have to play, and we got to pick our partners wisely. But again, doing it in-house definitely helps.
And it's nice to make another paycheck, which is super great, and keep the lights on. It doesn't hurt at all. But one way you can do that, one way you can support those third-party customers, one way you can support booming demand, and one way you can support R&D, you can build a brand new facility, state of the art. I want to talk a little bit about that, because sometimes I'll bring that stuff like that up on the show. I'm like, hey, you know, like Malone Trailer is a good example. Like we've talked about it. Like they'll ship you in a bunch of boxes and you got to put it together yourself. And I'm like, well, why does that? Who cares? Like, I want the trailer. I didn't want Legos. Like, what are we doing here? And I'm like, well, I just saved you like $7,000. Is that cool? Did you go pick it up? No, you didn't. It came to your, well, you're welcome for that. You know what I mean? And then, and the entire product, inside and out, double dip galvanized and also hard coated. because they're making the components. They can do that, not the entire freaking trailer. They're trying to do it too. And I'm like, there's the stuff that you just don't like, the supply chain, the way it's manufactured, the way we source it, the way we build it. It does matter. And that's why I like to call it out. So when we say, hey, you guys are in a brand new facility, is that mostly your boss's office, or is that, well, what is the new facility and what does it mean for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, so in May, actually end of last year, we purchased a new building and did a total renovation to it and got it kind of up to our standards, a little bit bigger, laid out a lot better. We were renting another building for a number of years, and we kind of had to deal with that. You get what you get, and now we had to come in with a bunch of empty white walls and figure out where we wanted stuff and lay it out exactly how we wanted. And it's good for us because we have a lot of efficiencies in our processes now. Laying the building out totally differently, things flow through. It helps us be a little more efficient and build more rods. We also have some room to grow, which is really nice. We're growing every day and hiring new people and setting up new stations and things like that. So, and we're not capped. We have the ability, in a couple of years, if we need to, we have room to keep the expansion going, hopefully. I'm sitting in our conference room right now, and it was the last thing that we were worried about getting going. So I only have one little rod rack here, and it's pretty bare, but the rest of the facility is looking good. We actually had some videos come out in the last couple weeks, I think, on our social media, doing some tours and things like that, and probably some more coming soon. So it's good, man.
And that's a huge deal. Like, people don't realize that efficiencies mean the rod, either you guys are making more on the rod, or you can make more rods at one time, which means keeping product in stock.
Yep.
But you guys making more money means you can spend more money in R&D. You can pump more money into new product. You can pump more money into trying new things. And all of a sudden, that's how you get the cool stuff. That's how you get like the Cashion that you want. And then too, somebody just asked the question, I think it was Peter. He said, even though Cashion is affected by tariffs, I'll put in as much. Are you guys raising prices too? ? And he goes, well, I mean, capitalism, maximize profits. And the answer is, I'll let you answer.
Ooh, the answer right now is no. Yeah.
So people want to hear.
It's cool. One of the only, like you talked about earlier at ICAST, one of the only people probably that hasn't been taking big increases. We launched that Element Z2 range earlier this year before that really was getting going. And, a lot of people probably would have taken an increase, and, we believed in that price point and that product, and we wanted to, see that through. And so we haven't held that. We don't have plans as of right now, I think, until we have some new stuff coming out early next year, potentially, just because they're totally redesigned with different parts and things like that. But like that Z2 pricing is going to stay true for the foreseeable anyway. So 120 can't beat it.
No, you can't. I mean, it's really hard to beat. We get that question a lot. People say, like, well, what's the best rod? And my first question is, how much you want to spend? And I know what people want to spend. They want to spend the least amount of money possible. And I respect it. I was there too. And if you only buy one rod, we used to have other options. I used to kind of quote some other stuff. There's really only 2 or 3 options that I quote, and you guys are always right there. Because, I mean, especially when someone's like, look, I need to be under $200 for a combo. I'm like, I want to laugh. I'm like, good luck. Yeah. Good luck. Like, that's hard. And I've built out a lot of combos where I've said, how can I do this for under 200? Like, what's the most I can get for under 200? We're not looking in the clearance bin. I'm saying, MSRP. That's freaking hard, man. And that speaks to kind of where we're at. And Jeff and we talked about this, like 100, 120 used to be like the max value, like maybe 6 years ago, 5 years ago. After the fishing boom, after tariffs and everything else, 150 is the new.
Absolutely.
Probably get the most for your money. And I'd make the case. And you guys will know, if you DM us and you say, because this happens all the time, what rod should I get? It's if you're like 150 or $200 for the combo, I'm like, yeah, it's the Element. It's going to be in that list because you're going to have a hard time. The actions are good, and the selection is there. Also a rarity. The only company I know that has the most, actually, like 13 fishing, and they're just starting to remake rods. Well, somebody's making them. And dude, Cashion's got it's crazy, the solid breadth on every model. So I have no. That's one of my go-to recommendations. So, but then I mean, when you go up to, it's the Icon for me because the Icon is like,
Yeah.
it looks incredible, it feels incredible, super durable, fish as well, and then it's all about the action for me because like people, it was like rod or action. Which one would you? I mean, you're a rod manufacturer, so you're gonna say fishing rod, but people say like, which one do you want to pay more for? You know what I mean? And I kind of used to maybe be on the reel side, and now I'm like, no, it's the rod all day. That's the by far most important.
So I can tell you because I grew up working in fishing tackle stores. You know what I mean? And like you said, you always come in, you give them a budget, they give you a budget, and you try to find that balance. You want to spend around the same price for both rod and reel. But you know, you had guys that would come in and like, I want a Stella, and they're trying to put it on an ugly stick, and you're like, what are you doing, man? Like, you're never gonna get out of that reel what it could be. You know, if you have that same budget, like buy this reel and this rod, I guarantee you'll be happier. So
you try and cast something a little bit heavier. I have nothing against an ugly stick. I got a couple in my garage. I got GX2s laying around, no question. But if you want to be Ned rigging, do you want to have a solid core, super stretchy tip? Me personally, you're going to catch a lot less fish. And I mean like a lot less fish. And to me, granted I'm from the Midwest, it might be a little different in salt, but like, how often are you reliant on the drag to catch a fish?
Yeah. Exactly.
I would argue the average angler, maybe 30% of the time. The rest of the time, the rod action is going to be enough for you. And I'd rather hook into 9 and catch 4 or 5 than hook into 2 and catch 2.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
That's just me. So for me, I'm prioritizing rod action. But
it's about like having an efficient tool. You know what I mean? Like you're going out there. What's going to give you the best chance to be successful? Some things are going to do better at that, especially at different price points. There's lots of different options, but what's going to give you the chance to catch that PB or get your kid a fish and be happy or any of those things, right? It's just a tool, man. But hopefully one that you're out in nature, you're having fun with it. It's going to be something you remember. So
totally agree, man. God, I totally agree. Stinky River Tom, legendary. Long-time member, long-time commenter, getting into the kayak world big time. He says, thank you for the super chat, my friend. He goes, I tried a carbon handle last year. And he said, he's talking about your bait finesse rod. He says, at this price point, though, that's insane. Fire emoji, thinking emoji, can't believe it emoji. And then he says, need to pick one of these up. I would agree. And I think the Element BFS is really nice, too, with the cork, though. That is a solid bait finesse rod. Jeff and I have gotten to fish both of them, and I think I have the extra fast, the original bait finesse that got released from you guys back in the day. And it is super nice. It's still definitely one of the more higher end BFS rods that I've got, and it holds up, no question. So that's, I think, 3 years old. It's been 4 years maybe since that came out.
I mean, it's definitely one of those things like the Z2, the Element Z2. Amazing rod, especially for people that are getting into those new techniques, right? You're getting into FFS, you're getting into BFS. We have those tools that are very technique specific like that you can get at a really good, quality product at that price point. And then you have the Icon. So, hey, once you're in it for a little while, you start to have success and you want to up it, you can easily do that. And, little more sensitive, a little better tool again. So it's,
guides.
Yep.
Oh. Exactly. Chef's kiss. Totally agree. All right. Here's a question. I think I got the right man for the job here on this one. How do you, when you look at the rod lineup and you go, hey, we got money to spend, or we're ready to make an entry into a new product. We want to release a new product next year. And your eyes go, I'm assuming you're like, because you've been asking to drop 58 rods for 2 weeks. How do you guys decide like where the gap in the market is, what you're going to go with, like even if you're like, maybe we're going to check maybe 10 different ones out and then we'll pick one later. How do you guys so you guys released a chatterbait rod. I mean, It's freaking sick. I want to use it. I haven't even got to fish it yet, but I want to know how are you guys was somebody just like Chatterbait rods are sick. We can make one of those. And you're like, oh yeah, those are dope. We'll make one. Like, I assume more goes into it than that.
I
So
mean,
help the people understand how do
short,
you guys choose where to go?
short answer goes right back to question one, the internet, man. But, feedback from our customers. When we launched Z2, it was, a solid starting range, and we knew we wanted to grow that over time and put it out there and had a ton of success, and let the market tell us like, hey man, these are awesome, would love a Carolina rig, would love a chatterbait rod, and boom, okay, we can do that. Go after it. And then so those are the kind of like the easier ones, unfortunately.
But that's good though. I want people to hear that because we actually tell people all the time, like when someone's like, man, like company so-and-so won't listen to me. I've left 100, comments on their Instagram. Like they get 1,000 comments on their Instagram. They're not going to hear you. Go to their website and leave like 6 comments.
Yep.
You will catch somebody's eye. That's what I've actually told people to do. I'm like, go to their website. When people leave a comment on their website?
Yeah.
Fractional.
It's true, man. Does it feel like you're getting heard all the time? Maybe not, but we are looking at it. We're paying attention to the social media, to the websites when we're on sales calls and all those things, our pro staff and Cashion crew members and stuff like that, the people that are in the market every day. You hear it. And when you start having success on something and guys, they go, oh man, this is, you have this in the icon. I'd love to have a version of this here. Okay, awesome. We can do that. It's those other categories that are tough, right? Like, what do we go into next?
I have a question.
Crazy stuff. Yeah, fire away.
All right. What if I told you I was like the sickest thing that I wanted this last like 6 months? A travel rod, 2-piece, 3-piece, something like that. I would have, if you guys had one, I'd have been crawling up your inbox trying to get a hold of one because I ended up buying a Daiwa Ardito and I scoured the internet. I did all my research. I'll tell you what right now. You want to guess how many options there are for a 3-piece travel rod? Not freaking none, dude.
Especially in like you can find some decent ones that are, maybe like a generic, 7-foot. But if you want anything with any technique, specificity to it, it's tough.
Rare. Yeah. And what's crazy to me, like truly nuts, is that almost none of them are saltwater action. They're all freshwater action. Yeah. I'm like, I assume that most people buy a travel rod. I feel like a good percentage of those people are like, I'm going to a destination and I want to fish. Like that's got to be a big bucket. Sure. Maybe not all the bucket, but it's got to be a part of the bucket. Like, dang, they're hard to find.
It's I'll tell you, we're messing with that all the time because that's on our radar, right? Like we see that as a whole too, but it's not that easy. I'll be perfectly honest.
No, I believe it. I do believe
it. It's something we've been playing with for a while now. We have a couple 3 pieces, blanks that we've been testing and messing around with, but I don't know exactly where they're going to fit or when they're going to come out. We'll see. But it's on the drawing board and on the whiteboard behind my desk to keep messing with. So, we'll see when we can dial it in. It's got to be perfect when we come out with stuff like that, though. You know what I mean? So,
especially a new part of the line. And someone else asked, like, hey, are you guys going to do – because I know you guys do some limited runs. I think we did – you had that insanely sick – I think the chatterbait rod is the green one, right?
Yeah, the chattergrass. Yeah, the Cashion Customs we started earlier this year. We've done a couple of those. That's actually
those were amazing.
Yeah, so that's a fun project for us, and we're trying to do like once a quarter, 3 or 4 times a year, hopefully going forwards. That limited batch. But for us, that's super cool because we get to try new stuff. We get to mess with painting and different componentry and
finishes.
Yeah. And so it gives us an opportunity to, show off what we can do. We're designing our own components and things like that. We have a designer here who's doing stuff and we're testing things all the time, but it also gives us that feedback loop, right? Now you got stuff out there and those guys are, they're pretty good about giving you some feedback when they buy something that they know is a limited batch. So, we've found out from those couple drops already, like what people like or don't like in certain things. And so, all right, I can put that down in the notes and I can learn something from it. And, maybe, some of those pieces that were in one of those rods makes it to a final production rod one day. We'll see how it goes, but right now we're using that as one of those feedback tools, and it's been really good for us. So
it's great market testing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's really what it is, and it's fun. It's like I said, showcases what we can do. We have a blast with it. It's good to engage the audience with, and again, the biggest thing is for us to learn what our customers want to see or what they like in things that we're doing. So.
Somebody asked the question in chat, and this was going to be my unsolicited request for the next custom.
All right, let's hear
it. Somebody asked the question. They said, "Hey, is Cashion going to make like a female specific fishing line, like lineup?" And I was like, "Ooh, we can ask." But on the limited, the follow up was, "Hey, can we get a purple rod, dude?
Purple.
You throw purple in the mix, it's going down. It's people lose it over that." So Jeff and I got a purple New Canoe Unlimited kayak.
Okay.
We got more questions, more requests on that than anything. And I showed folks there's one left. Crescent limited run. The color was ink, was purple. It was incredible. That is one of the best kayak colors I've seen, and the plastic they use has a really nice finish on it. So it looks it's mint. It's amazing. And there's one left at like Water Dog Outfitters. I put it on my story. Bye. That thing was gone. Yeah. Now, if you want chat's input, we can add chat. All right, Chas, when you get a moment, please, sir, if you could, let's do a thumbs up or thumbs down, or I like or I don't like. Let's get a yes, no. Do we want to see a purple rod? Let's just see how many people respond. Let's see what the percentages look like. Are you guys interested? Carol Fergus sold, all caps. She already said that. So let's see what pops up. And actually, Peter said, "Oh yeah, the Phoenix M1 is such a pretty purple." That actually really is a cool purple. I have their swim bait rod, which is in a version of that. That one turned out pretty good too. But that's an oldie but a goodie. So let's see what people say. But I will tell you, our marketing, our branding is like purple and chartreuse, like because it's people just I don't know what it is. It's like an accessible dude color that dudes are okay with it, but also women like it too.
I'll be honest, we've been testing for the Cashion Customs deal a bunch of different paint techniques and colors, and have come up with some brand new techniques in the last 6 months or a year on how to paint rods. And part of that is a lot of different funny colors, and we've done some really cool colors. And purple is one, like you said, it just looks really good. You get, like we did purple with some, I don't remember what colors, like sparkle or glitter in it. It kind of looked like the side of a bass boat. It was really cool. We did a couple, every now and then we'll do some custom, like one-off custom rods for customers that come in the shop, or friends in the business, things like that. And we did a really cool purple one for the wife of a colleague in the business, and she loved it. And I thought the rods really came out good. We actually talked about doing for Cashion Customs like a breast cancer thing for October.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I don't think we're going to do a drop in October this year, but that's definitely something that's on our radar in the future. You know what I mean? Great cause. And, if you can do something cool like that, that is pretty cool. You can get the ribbon in there, do it pink. You can put some cool grips and everything else on there. So
heck yeah.
We have been thinking about that. And I know the girls in the office would love it if we did a pink or purple, female line of rods. So
yes. And it's like you've got Bassmast Her, if I can pronounce it correctly. Put one of those in Maggie Joe's hands. Those things are gone. Christine Fisher, put one of those hands, bye. But yeah, I totally agree. And like, it's like I always think of like tacos as the most photogenic food, and I think purple is like the most photogenic color. I don't know why, but it always pops. Like tacos always look good in a picture. Purple always looks good in a picture. There's no getting around it. I don't know what it is. I don't make the rules. It is what it is. So how do you guys? You talked a little bit about how you kind of pick some of those actions and that sort of thing. You talked about how you kind of evaluate some of the stuff. How long does it take from like, all right, idea. We had this cool idea. We've done some testing, but we know like the market's ready for it. We found a gap. We think we can meet a gap. Now we're going to start the R&D, the sourcing, the ops, the pricing evaluations, the marketing promotion for the launch. Like, how long does it take from like the idea to like when I get one in my hands? I'm like, dang, that was cool.
I guess it really depends on like where you are in the product or how closely it relates to something, you know, you have in the range already. But I would say on average, you know, 18 months kind of as a minimum. You know, we live with kind of like I'd call it like a roadmap for kind of 3 years, and it's not set in stone, but at least we're putting like, here's where we want to go. Here's some different areas that, you know, we think we want to get into or whatever. You know, if you guys in the Midwest, because we've had this ask, right? Walleye rods. You know, I would love to do it. And we've been working on it, but you know, that's a little bit longer pool than something in the bass world. You know what I mean? So
you guys know the bass world. You have the experience. You've already got the actions. You've got you kind of know what's important in a bass rod.
Yeah.
When you look at a walleye rod, you're talking about, are we trolling this one? Exactly. Are we actually casting this one? What are we like? I don't know what we're doing. Like, how tough does it need to really be? It's walleye. Like, you literally just walk them in. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
They're just different. So again, we have the experience in a lot of things, but you know, certain areas we have to know, all right, if we're going to go into this again, we want to be able to be proud of putting our name on it. So we got to do it right. And that just takes a little bit more time, because you gotta go through the iterations. You got to test it. You got to get the feedback. You know, so some of those projects can and probably will take a little bit longer. You know, we have some other stuff in the pipeline that, I mean, we just had ICAST, right? In my mind, as the ops guy, I'm still in that world, making sure we're building. But when I put the PD hat on, I'm already thinking about next ICAST, and like we're making decisions and having meetings regularly and designing stuff that is related to that already. And those were started, you know, before ICAST. It's not like we just started a lot of those. You know, it's like, hey, now we got to, you know, the first lap. Now we got to put the pedal down and you know, really make sure we can move, because we got only a few more months really until decisions got to be made, and you know, final prototyping or testing or whatever. So it takes a while, man. I wish it was faster. That'd be amazing if it was, but that's just the reality when you're trying to make something that, you know, people are going to want to use and you're going to be proud of. You don't want to put anything junky in the market, so it takes a minute. And like you said, the sourcing, right? Like if you want to do anything unique, then it's even more complicated. You know, if you got to get molds or special something made, or for us, you know, design a machine to make something or things like that. It's, you know, it draws the process out a little bit. You got to learn how to use it before you can actually bring it to the market and things like that. So,
and like, it's such a boom or bust proposition to launch a truly new product. Like, you got to buy a ton, because you got to support potential sales. You don't want to buy too much, because then if it doesn't launch the way you want, you're stuck with whatever you got. And you don't know when it's a truly new product, like a walleye rod. That's a great example. Like you go walleye and you're like, man, we made a great rod, but if the marketing doesn't hit, if the market's not right, if tariffs blow us up, whatever, right? Whatever it is, all of a sudden it's like, I got 600 grand.
Yep.
To start on this bad boy. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's part of that process. When you talked earlier about like qualifying a project, like that's what we have to look at, right? Do we have any share in that market? What does our dealer network or or stores look like in that area. If I got to go find all new, if I'm not selling in that market because they got to have walleye rods to even support some of the other stuff you're doing. Hey, all right, that means I got to have more sales effort. I got to do more marketing. All those things, they cost time and money. So you got to make sure you do it right. So you got to go get that information up front and evaluate, how you think you can execute it basically. And sometimes you go, all right, this is a no brainer. Let's go. And sometimes you got to slow play it a little bit and do the homework. So,
yep. Then sometimes you got to say, no, it's cool to me, but can I sell 500 of these in the next couple, in the next month? No, probably not. Shoot. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know about your sourcing background or supply chain background, but my world, especially in my past life, we used to call it hobbyist buying. We design something we think is awesome, and hey, I think this is the coolest thing ever, and I'm going to go figure out how to do it, and not really think about is anybody else going to think that's cool? Can I actually sell this at the price that it's going to cost? Whatever. Like I wanted the one sample because I wanted it for my own tackle box or for my own boat. But, for it to be a true viable product, it takes a little different perspective to actually have something that's going to be successful. So,
yeah. And I mean, and sometimes you can do all that stuff right. And if the marketing's not right, it can still crap the bed in sales. I mean, like the best example, so I have a degree in marketing, and this one professor had this, he was like, do you guys know what this is? And he pulled up this contraption on the screen. It was like a gray rectangle, like a 3D, like a rectangle. And he was like, does anybody know what this is? And we were all like, no, I've never seen that gray turd in my life. That looks like a Transformer's finger. I don't know what that is. And he's like, this is a mousetrap. And we're like, all right, cool. Thanks for the show. And he's like, you don't understand. We have this mousetrap. And it's like a regular, what you think of as a mousetrap. Total trash. It's a death trap. Like, why do we have this? It doesn't work. It just bites you. It doesn't even work. And they're cheap. Like, what do we do? And he's like, somebody invented an actual better mousetrap. They made the best one ever. It had everything you could ever dream of for a mousetrap, but it looks like garbage. It doesn't look like a mousetrap, and they didn't market it. And so guess what? You've never heard of it, and no one uses them, but it is the best mousetrap that you can possibly make. It's the absolute best. It's perfect in every way, and it's free. You know what I mean? It's like it's $1 more or whatever. And I think that just illustrates the point very well of like you can actually make a literal better mousetrap, and people will not care if you didn't get it out the right way, if you don't market it the right way, and if it will not sell. So you can do everything right, all the stuff you just talked about, which is the hard stuff. And then if you even one little chain in that whole process of, is the market right? Do I have people to support it? Do I have a facility big enough to handle the volume? Whatever. If you don't have any one or two of those things, all of a sudden your massive investment, your time, your money, and all that, you can still lose it. And dude, fishing's a hard business. Someone's going to come in right behind you and be like, hey, I made the same thing. And then they'll market it right. And you're like, ah.
Sometimes that's all it takes is that, that catchy marketing. So, but what problem are you solving, right? Or was it even a problem? The mousetrap existed,
It's a great point. We had one. I didn't need a better one. This one's fine. Yeah. Cool mousetrap, Transformer finger guy.
Didn't do enough market research to realize people aren't willing to pay that extra $1 for that better mousetrap because it's a mouse. Exactly. They don't care. They just want it dead or out of their house.
I even just want to feel like I did it, and I don't need to pay another $1 to do it. So whatever, dude. Like I could buy a cat. Yeah, I totally. It's just it is. I think it's important for people to understand that like it takes that long to launch a product. There's a reason for that. Yeah. There's a reason that like people are like, hey, do they have 2-piece rods? I'm like, well, do we need them? The market for 2-piece rods is not as big as it should be. And that's my opinion as like a multi-piece rod user for a long time. I got a bunch. People are always like, they're going to come apart. I'm like, I've never had that happen once. And I have thousands and thousands and thousands of casts on them. Saltwater fish, biggest fish, like smallest, like I've never had it happen. You think, I always like, my joke is like, you ever watch somebody fly fish? You 19 false casts, then you go back out. That's with a 4-piece, 11-foot rod. Do you ever see those come apart? Do any of them worry about it?
Is that ever going to happen?
They don't even make one. What are we doing here? So yeah, but like it's It has to be there. The money has to be there. So if it's not there, you can't make it.
Well, and you have to understand the market, because we say that because here in the U.S. it isn't something that many people have ever used or needed. We have boats, big garages, big cars, all those things. I can tell you, if you go anywhere else in the world, it's almost all 2-piece sales. I mean,
Yes.
I lived in Europe for a few years. I mean, it's 90% of the market is 2-piece. If you go to Japan, 90% of the market is 2-piece. They don't have the big cars. They don't have the boats and all those things like we do. So, it's, for us, we think of it as one way. And why would anybody ever use that? They're sitting over there going, why would you need a 7.5-foot 1-piece rod? How do you move around with that thing? You put it in your car and you're like, throw it in the back of the truck bed. It's no big deal.
I put it in the rod tube on top of my truck. That's another rod tube that's got my other rods in it.
So, again, the locations, everybody looks at things a little bit differently depending upon where they're from or what their background is. So
it's such a great point. All right. So somebody asked, the Burley AAA hype man, he said, serious question, as opposed to his other questions, not serious. He says, what pros are on the roster, and are their rods all custom? And I think the implicit question is, are they getting like the standard Cashion rods?
No, I mean, aside from John Cruz, who, again, not like they're custom rods. We have his rod range, which is 8 or 10 models that are different from our existing icons that he wanted specifically, and we kind of gave him carte blanche to design, and we sell those under our brand with his name on it as a signature series. Everything else is stock products. And any of the pros are what we call our crew members. They jump on the website, or they call the office and go, hey, I need one of these, and we pull them right out of the same inventory as everybody else.
I love it. They're fishing your rods, my dude. Hype Man knows his stuff too, and he's been around the block when it comes to fishing rods. But yeah, that's awesome to hear. And I mean, that's what you want to hear, but you never know. Somebody else asked an easy one. They said, is the Cashion chatterbait rod just the one in the Icon line, or is there one coming in the Element line too?
Z2 chatterbait rod was launched at ICAST. They are going into production. We should probably have them, I'd say, going out probably to the market late September, early October.
Yeah, y'all, just in time for that cold weather coming through.
Yep, absolutely, man. We got some builds scheduled, so we'll be working on those. Ooh, I don't know, they might have someone back there getting rolling right now, but yeah, we're working on that now. So chatterbait, we did a swim bait rod and a Carolina rig rod in the Z2 range this year in like the bass family, and then we did a couple other things as well. But
yep,
chatterbait,
dude, I love that swim bait element. I will not allow it to be slept on. You can. Wait till you fish. That's what I want. I have to wait. I always have to wait. Oh, you got it right there, dude. What the frick?
I don't have a lot of ICAST, but yep, full core candle on this guy though.
The monster. So we saw it at ICAST, and I didn't realize that they had. Oh no! Oh, I didn't realize. I didn't realize we had new ones. Yeah, send it my way. But yeah, I didn't realize we had new models coming out. I had heard about the chatterbait one, but I did not know about the swim bait one. And I saw it at the very end because it sticks out like a sore thumb. It's like a foot longer than the other ones. And I was like, dude, SOB. Because I'll tell you, that's another thing. Having those hit the Element lineup, I think that one's like 10 or 20 bucks more than the other ones just because it's like more material. But at the 150-ish, whatever it is, price range, dude, there's not, look, if it holds up to the same level of quality and the action does what you want it to do in that action range, it's going to be really hard for someone to say, go buy anything else on the swim bait lineup. That is insane.
Yep. And that's one we played with for a long time and tried to decide, what are we going to do with this? How do we, can a swim bait rod kind of live in that family? And we kind of looked at it from the same perspective, like we talked about BFS. You got a lot of guys that it's a craze. People are getting into it, and you see, yeah, you got those guys that are buying the $200, $300 baits. But if you walk in a tackle store, most of the stuff being bought is $25 to $40 bait. And guys, they just want to try it, and you might not have a rod that's going to help you be successful at it. So, hey, there's something that if you're throwing a 7-inch glide bait, or not a jumbo swim bait or jumbo glide bait, something like that, that rod's it's got the tip action. You got the long handle. It's got plenty of power. You can be very successful fishing that rod, and I love that rod personally. I did a lot of the prototyping on it. I think I have a blast fishing it. So
that's awesome.
I'm excited for you guys to get your hands on them.
Yeah, I need to. I'm horrific at glide bait fishing. I'm okay if the tail moves on its own, but with the glide, I'm terrible. But I love to do it, and having forward-facing sonar is so much fun to fish with a glide bait. It's insane. I said what I said, and then somebody also asked. I think it was Stinky River Tom. He's like, "Hey, I need a buddy who's got a might want a musky rod." I'm like, "Well, dude, you might want to give this one a shot. It just depends on how big a freaking bait you need to throw."
Yeah,
the musky lineup is tough.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, if you're throwing giant, spinner baits or stuff that's half a pound, it might not be the rod. But for what most people are doing to catch bass with the swim bait technique, that'll work. It's got a soft enough tip to where you can work the bait a lot of different ways. Also, you hook them. You're not as likely to pull the hooks out. He's got a nice tip, but plenty of backbone. Super comfortable rod, casts great. I mean, we have heavier ones in the range again when you get into the Icon and stuff like that. So we got that pro level one as well. But that blank I absolutely love, and we're excited for everybody to get out there and try them, because if you're throwing that $40 glide bait or you want to get into it, I guarantee you're going to be more successful with that than taking your flipping rod out there and trying it's night and day difference on how well you can work the bait and how many more fish you're going to land with the proper rod for what you're throwing.
1000%. And I have done both, and I'm here to tell you, you will regret it. That one time you finally hook a fish and the fish is like, goodbye. Yep. You're like, no.
Yeah, they're made for specific purposes, and that flipping rod is not really made to work a bait the same way. Or handle a big heavy bait with all those treble hooks and everything else on there. So
100%. All right. Couple of other questions. I got a couple left. When you guys look at, you talked about doing your market research, trying to understand what is going on in this market. What Jeff and I see a lot of times is we see the age range, the average. It used to kind of be, for a while during COVID, it was like the age range expanded. It used to be like, 30 to 60, whatever, something like that. Dudes. Then you have a bigger slice of the pie, women. That slice is growing, which is great. I think we should all be happy that that's happening. That all helps us. That's more money for conservation. That's more money buying fish and stuff, which makes my stuff cheaper, which makes more cool product in the market. And then we saw, like Proficiency, I think, they're obviously targeting that younger audience in a very unique way. And they are targeting like teenagers, like young teenagers, which I think is awesome. I think that's really cool. It's not for me, but the fact that they're giving you value price product for a young person to be like, if that's the thing that gets them to buy their first fishing rod, I think Cashion should be like, thank you. Because in 10 years, they're going to be like, here's the Icon, baby. The upgrade, we got it for you. So when you guys look at that market and you kind of, how do you think about that? Like, how do we grow the pie instead of slice the slices smaller? How do you guys look at that? How do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the market is changing. That's, again, going back to the earlier conversations, the social media world, the access that people have, who's using YouTube. You know what I mean? It's not the 65-year-old guy who's setting his ways. It's
not as much
high school and college age kids. The
Trey McKinney's of the world.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's slid down a little bit for sure. You know, I hate to use the term, I guess, but you know, that like millennial generation just turned 35. And that's when people start to have more discretionary income. So, you know, that's growing for sure. And the youth, because they're such like avid consumers and doing all the homework, you know, they're if they're into fishing, they're following all the guys. They're watching you. They're researching stuff all the time, and they want to try new things. They're looking for something different. It's not like I've been using this bait, this rod, this reel, this whatever forever. It ain't broke, don't fix it. They
Give me more Senkos.
They want to try new stuff, and they're interested in the new technique. So like it helps all of that stuff grow. And yeah, I mean, how do we look at it? Obviously we want our web presence and social media presence to follow along. We're working on what I would say some design upgrades and things like that to help the fit and finish of stuff, just so they look nicer. There's, I don't want to say sexier, but so they're a little more appealing.
Dude, the mat, I know the mat is actually like removes some of the finish. It looks hella good though.
Yeah, I love the matte finish, man. I think it's cool. We're working on a few other different variations of that as well that may or may not be coming out in the future. We'll see. But I like that look as well.
Yeah, the matte is sick. The icon's still peak though. I'm gonna keep referencing the icon because that's what I've got probably the most time in. But god dang, dude,
that's what helped build the brand. So we love that one too. But
that's crazy.
we've been working on some tweak for that one for the future as well. So it might be time to give her a little bit of a facelift. We'll see what the future holds.
Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So as the PD guy, what are some of the things that keep Reed up at night when you are when you're not asleep and you're like trying to go to bed and you're like, wow, my anxiety's flaring up. I don't want to deal with this, but it's there. What keeps you up at night?
I mean, it's always going to be supply chain challenges. And I mean, for me, outside of the PD is just the operations stuff because we're growing. And, we have good problems to have, but, there's still a little bit of problems. We got a lot of fishing rods that we're trying to jam out every day. How do I hire and train people and get them going to, live and operate and care about what they're doing at the same level as the guys we've had here in the shop for years. Those are the things that, hey, as you grow, that's a great challenge or a great thing to have. But there are some things in there that you gotta be realistic about. And it's those kind of things that I'm thinking about more than anything. Right. I know what our goals are as a company and we're going to do everything we can to get there. But you got a new building and it's bigger, and that means you can put more people in it, and more people is a good thing. And it's got some challenges. So, but our guys in the shop are great, man. We have an awesome crew. They're the heart and soul of what we're doing here. They love to come to work every day. They have a good time doing it, and I can honestly say they genuinely care. They take pride in their part in that rod. And like I said earlier, knowing that it's going to go out there and hopefully somebody's going to have, an amazing day or a time of their life or catch a huge fish, or it's going to be a kid's first fish is with something that they help build. And they talk about that all the time, and we have a lot of anglers in the building. These dudes they're always giving us new ideas and helping us design stuff and giving us feedback. And, that's also cool to be able to pull from the entire team. We've had guys in the shop who came up with names for things, or, they helped design, certain parts of some of the rods in the past, or the Cashion custom stuff. So, our crew top to bottom has been awesome to work with. And we're plugging a few more people in soon that hopefully will also, help us get to our level and be as good as the guys we have now. Ladies,
heck yeah.
But we have both in the shop. So
that's good. That's ideal. And look, we all have jobs. We all have work. You ever had that big win at work? You're like, dude, that was my idea. And you walk around, you take that to every party you go to. You know it. I know it. If I named the icon or whatever, I'd be like, it was me. Now I
Yeah.
just imagine it was a fishing thing. Now it's like, I'm telling everybody. The internet gets it. My grandma gets it. Everyone's finding out about that for freaking sure, dude.
Try to be humble when you can, but sometimes you know. But like I said, it's never like one person did anything. You know what I mean? It's such a team thing here. You know, I might have an idea, but the people who are going to execute it, you know, are way more skilled than what I am at certain things. So it takes the whole crew to make any of these projects happen, and that's pretty common in most companies. So
absolutely. Yeah. Well, and you guys got a lot to be proud of, so that also helps too. You got lots of wins under your belt, which is great. I like the it's funny you call it the ops. I've been on the execution side of a lot of businesses in my time, and I'm here to tell you, when it comes to supply chain, bro, there's always a problem, and you never get to be the good guy. When you're the good guy, everyone goes, nice, you did your job. And then like you're like, what? Yeah. What are we talking about now? You're always the harbinger of death. You walk in the building with a not smile on your face, everyone's like, what did he do today?
Yep.
And it's never your fault.
100%.
It's never your fault. You're always mopping up everybody's mess, and they're like, "Oh, thanks, I guess."
Yep. Or you get the you know, something happens, something goes down, or you run out of something, and it's like, oh man, now I got to figure out a pivot plan and how to fix this thing that I don't know diddly squat about. But you know,
I will tell you that was my favorite part of my job. I love that about my job.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, every day is different. You walk in with 5 things you want to check off your list, and if you get 2 of them done, it was probably a pretty good day.
Oh, you're crushing it if you got 2 out of 5.
Fire drills are happening, but I mean that's what keeps it exciting. You know, we're in the fish and tackle business. This is cool, man. I've done other things as well, and to talk fishing every day, you can't really beat it.
No,
I don't really want to do anything.
I will say I love there's nothing like the feeling being Superman though. Even when no one appreciates it. When you go through and you're like, I didn't even think I was gonna pull. I didn't even have a hat to pull anything out of. I pulled it out of somewhere. We got a solution. You're welcome, everybody. Yep. And I'm patting myself on the back all the way out the building for like the next month. I love that stuff. I like that. I'd wait for stuff. I wait for the 5 o'clock fire alarm. Let's do it.
Well, you have to go into those things with the right attitude. You know, you can't like let it pull you down. You got to be like, all right, well, that happened. What are we going to do to take care of it, fix it, come up with a workaround, whatever, because it's too easy to just be like, oh no, the sky's falling. Let's shut everything down and go home. You know, no, unfortunately it doesn't work like that. Like, all right, hey, it happened. What can we do to resolve it? You know, and
dude, I mean, and
try to make it happen.
I love that. And when you're in supply chain, you're not allowed to do that because, like, I mean, realistically, in most of the jobs I've had, like, people's livelihoods a lot of times depend on me executing at a high level, right? Like, there's literally, if I'm not doing my job, someone's not getting fed, or they're getting fed less at some point. And that's how I always like thought about my job a lot of times. And what I started noticing is that when people get down, well, like when something happens, they're like, so-and-so supplier, you know, crap the bed. They don't have your stuff ready. And when people go, and they start complaining, I'm like, you need a break. You need to go do another job for 2 years, and you can come back when you're ready. Because if you're not going, son of a, all right, what are we doing? If we're not doing that, that's a problem in the supply chain world. Because you can't let up, dude. It's got to be 200% all the time. Where's my stuff? It's not here. I needed it here yesterday.
Pointing fingers, making excuses don't solve problems. And when a problem comes up, you just gotta, you gotta take it and figure out, a way to make it work.
Respect.
You've been there, man. I can tell you that we've had a couple instances where, a package got lost and we had to go find it at somebody else's building or something like that. And you're like, oh man, if I don't find this, I don't know what we're going to do. But things happen. You just gotta keep your attitude or your positivity up there and just hammer down and go get it. So
Respect. I love it. And that's dude, that's you guys getting your fishing rods. That's you guys having product in stock, and that's you guys having all the things that you want from Cashion. So someone keeps the lights on, someone keeps product going out the door. Right now, that's Reed and his team.
It's all you that are buying the brand, man.
That's right.
You guys that are out there using it and supporting it. So
keep doing that. 1,000. All right. Got a couple fun questions.
Cool.
These are just fun ones, quick ones. We call it slow rolling thunder. This is our outro to the show. All right. And by the way, before we proceed, 76% purple.
Ooh,
so 76%.
All right.
Just saying. That's a high percentage. I think we had over 50 votes. So I'm just saying.
I was going to say that's a very high percentage.
That's all. I'm going to leave that there. That's all I'm saying.
Great feedback. There's one takeaway that I will walk away from for sure and bring up in the next meeting.
Attaboy. All right. What is the weirdest thing that you've pulled out of the water while fishing or encountered? One of the two. I'll open it up. I'll tell you mine while you think, dude. I pulled a laptop out of the river, like a whole laptop, hard drive, everything still, keyboard on there. That's probably the weirdest thing I've ever found.
I mean, I grew up in Florida, man. So I've encountered a few square groupers in my life. I guess that'd probably be the weirdest thing. But yeah,
I feel like Florida, you could have literally said anything, and it would have been like everyone would be like, "All right,
Florida man is real."
Yeah, for sure, dude. Florida man is real. Can confirm. All right, next one. We talked about TV. Now you're not currently a hardcore TV watcher, but you know enough to be dangerous. I'll say this. I'm gonna go with Seinfeld. We double checked Seinfeld. I'll say, which cast member from the show of Seinfeld would you want to fish with, and why?
Oh, Kramer for sure. He would just
right
be the most fun. Absolutely, that'd be a blast.
See, I think that's what everyone's answer would be initially. I picked George. I think George is my favorite character. He's psychotic, and there's no way you're not going to have an adventure if George is in the boat.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to do something crazy. It's going to be like a Bill Dance, kind of thing for sure. He's going to fall in the water, fall in the
exactly
water.
Right. Trolling motor is going to separate from the bow.
Yeah, Kramer will never stop moving, so the boat will be rocking the whole time.
That's right. Everyone's puking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like no one's picking a lane. I feel like you're just gonna that one's dead in the water. I mean, I feel like Jerry, it would be a very quiet fishing trip. I feel like that's a non-starter.
I mean, I agree. Like
he's gonna show up in jeans.
I feel like he would just be like making fun of whatever you were doing the whole time. All this.
Well, why do you have to poke the fish in the face exactly?
Something, and you're like, man, calm down, have fun,
relax, go catch a fish. Yeah. Be more like George. Go drown. That's a good one. All right. If you won the lottery, so you have like we'll say unlimited money. What is the first like big fishing related purchase that you'd be going in on?
I mean, how much money are we talking?
Millions. You got millions. You got 50 million. You won the freaking Powerball.
Wow. First big fishing related product.
It could be like property. It could be, it could be a gaggle of sharks. I don't even know what those are supposed to be. A pod.
I mean, it would probably be either a beach house or lake house where the fishing is, or like probably big boat, some sort of offshore boat.
Offshore boat, definitely got to be on the list. I would even argue inshore boat, like one of those boats that can, like the skiffs that can like go way trim, like out in Louisiana, and then end up on the inshore like 30 minutes later. I can do that.
I mean, I have a bay boat back in Florida, so I would go either small skiff for like, I really enjoy sight fishing, like not necessarily fly fishing, but just sight fishing on the flats, things like that. And I like offshore fishing, so I'd probably do something like that as well.
Heck yeah. I would buy a property for sure, dude. I would buy I'd find like I don't even know which lake. It could be St. Clair. St. Clair is like pretty freaking awesome. If it was in Michigan, dude, I would be buying like 50 acres and I would have just like I would have a showroom of kayaks.
Yeah,
Out
I
on
mean,
that's 100%.
I mean, for that kind of money, I'd probably have both, right? I'd have the house, I'd have the, you know, the lake
You
house
get
with
it?
some
Yeah.
property, and I'd have the, you know, the house or beach house or something somewhere cool
Ocean front.
with the boat. Yeah, so I'd just go back and forth, whatever is in season. I'd make sure the cabin house had some good deer property on it as well. So I
If you
could
can't shoot turkeys, what's the point? I
boom,
totally
boom,
agree.
back and forth. Absolutely.
Good freaking call. Oh, Fairy Wand Fishing says UC Crescent's new skiff. I'm going to tell you guys right now. I have been getting pictures texted me of that thing in development for a long time. It's freaking sick. And I don't know if you noticed, but there's like 2 models actually. So you guys can go check that out. It's pretty nuts.
Nice.
I got to reach out to my boys and I got to go check that freaking thing out because we have the NT 300 and the NT 600 from Newport. And that is just screaming. And I mean screaming for a 6 horsepower tiller steer for Jeff and I to hop into one of those. It's a plastic John boat. It's freaking sick.
So much fun. You can go anywhere in those, man. It's a blast.
I want to do it so badly. Oh my God. All right. Last one before we exit. If you were a fish, what lure would you personally not be able to? You're eating it every single time. And I know the fishermen think this way because you and I both know that we've held like we got 5 options, and you're like, I would eat this one. I'm throwing this one.
Wow. I guess it probably depends, but I mean, you made the joke about the Cinco earlier, but I mean, Old Faithful, it kind of always works. I'd have a hard time staying away from like a Zara Spook or, you know, Super Spook or something like that.
You're not far off from my answer. I was gonna say anything like leech related, because like when you see them in the water, like squirming around, you don't have to know what that is to be like, yeah, I'll bite that. I don't know, but it's going down. Like that's getting bit. And then top water would be right behind it. Cause like I have to imagine looking from above, like either like some walking bait stuff. And if I was a bat, I'm
the other thing that popped in the head though is like crawfish. Like I'd eat those now as is. Like, why would I not eat them if I was a fish, you know?
So. I could tell you, I've always been like a little bit confused why fish eat a paddle tail. I know it seems insane, but like every time I see one, I'm like, I mean, yeah, like it's got the paint job, right? I mean, like the color scheme matches, but I've never seen a like this doesn't seem right. Like I would be side eyeing that. So I would not pick paddle tail, but yeah, bottom crawler, 100%. Top water, that's probably number 2. And yeah, number 1. Maybe not the wacky, but like anything like a little bit smaller than your standard young dinger. Yeah, I'd probably smack the hell out of that. I'm eating that for sure.
Why not? It's down there floating right nice and easy for you, right? Like why would you?
It doesn't look scary. It doesn't have appendages. I'm eating it.
Nothing there that's gonna hurt you. You might as well just, you know, take a bite.
Give it a taste. A little bite. Give it a nibble. Dude, 100%. All right, Reed, where would you guys like people to go discover Cashion rods? Where should people be looking to go find them? A little bit more information about Cashion.
Yeah, I mean, Cashion Fishing on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and then cashionrods.com. We actually have a new website that'll probably be out very soon. We'll say that. We've been working on an upgrade to the website for a little while now, so you can always find that stuff there as well, man.
Dude, and then you can follow us, DM us questions. I can't say we've used every rod in the lineup. We've used a vast majority. Really want to get our hands on the chatterbait rod. I would love to try the swim bait rod and show you guys that one. But ask us questions too, and we can help point you in the right direction. But Reed, thanks so much. This was a ton of fun. Thanks for donating the time. This was awesome. Y'all check out Cashion Rods. They make the latest and greatest new website. Freaking new rods coming out in the Element lineup, and you got the new facility. It's all looking up. So again, thank you so much for checking us out. And you guys will be here next week, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, live. Next members only is September 9th. Those are a ton of fun. That's where we do all of our giveaways. We don't do them anywhere else. And we've been giving away a ton of stuff the last couple of months. So if you want to join, become a member, you can pop in there. Lowest level, you can pop in there. It's a ton of fun. Also, the last 2 decals that we made for our kayaks, you guys help us design those. And I've got like 4 ideas for a t-shirt, and we do the designs. You guys get to vote on those too. So join us for the members only live. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week. Chaz, if you would be so kind, please get us out of here.